What's up? What's up? Y'all know what time it is. We've actually never done this on a Saturday before. But got a tech testimony. She did, of course, a tech sales boot camp to not just break into tech, but she actually started out in a higher role than most people start out as. And she's going to break down not just her experience with, her story of her breaking into tech, but also what she did specifically to start out in a higher paying role. So she did an SDR boot camp, started out as an account executive instead, which is basically a step up in most scenarios, a step up from an SDR. And I tell people that it's possible to do that. Now, of course, with that step up in role, that usually correlates to a higher pay or basically higher pay, higher position, all of that same thing. So really excited about this conversation we're going to have. Just to give people a little bit of a heads up so y'all know a few things so we get started. First and foremost, for everybody that's on Instagram, because of course we're on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. For everyone that's on Instagram and you are interested and you're like, okay, you hear the story, you're like, yo, I want to do the same boot camp that she did. All you have to do is comment SDR, or more specifically, account executive. But SDR, it'll be the same thing. You'll get the discount link. Tech is New Black, of course, gets a kickback for that. And for those of y'all that are on LinkedIn and YouTube, all you have to do is look at the description and you'll see the link that's there. And that's the discount link as well. It's only $450 with the discount link. But of course, listen to her story. So you kind of hear about the platform, hear her story of what she did. So that way you can learn from how she did it so you can do it and implement it yourselves. Last thing, for those that want to be a part of the Tech is New Black community, those that are on Instagram, Instagram, comment community, and you'll get free access to our community where you'll get access to our LinkedIn optimization training, updates on tech events that are hiring with referrals, and a bunch of other stuff. Updates on all the tech events that are happening in the US, bunch of cool things, bunch of free resources we're giving y'all so that y'all can break into tech and scale in tech faster, bigger, and better. On YouTube and LinkedIn, all you have to do, same thing, just look at the description. You ain't got to comment anything. Just look at the description and you'll see that there's an option for you to join the community and just click on that link so that way you can join us. But wait until after we have this whole conversation so that way you can kind of get some good nuggets before you do that. That being said, look at that. We got some people tuned in right now from our community in a private chat. We love it. We love it. Yeah, on LinkedIn and YouTube, y'all don't have to comment. Y'all don't have to comment community. Y'all can just look at the description. All right. Someone said they just graduated yesterday as a sales engineer. Brooklyn, you don't have to comment community. Just look at the description under the stream. And yeah, everybody's commenting community on LinkedIn. It's hilarious. It's cool. Whatever. Anyway, so we're gonna get into it. Fabby, did you request to join the LinkedIn stream? Or not the LinkedIn, the Instagram stream? Can you hear me, Fabby?
Let's see.
Okay, looks like
maybe just a little bit of a delay, but I'm requesting.
All right, y'all, bringing her on right now. Now, as she's coming on, as always, make sure y'all are kind and polite to one another in the comments. Make sure y'all are, kind and polite to the guest who's coming on, because I didn't pay her to come on here. She's coming on here just to share her story to help y'all. So definitely, be kind and loving towards her in the comments. And y'all, she's in Dubai right now. So it's nighttime, like late night where she's at right now. Looks like it's loading. I don't see you on here just yet.
It's working.
So it's loading you on here, but I don't see you on the stream just yet, Fabby. Fabby, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you in the computer. It's just that it's going slow.
Yeah, it's loading.
IG Live is trying to load for you.
All right, I might need to jump off here and then connect the Wi-Fi. I mean, I have a full bars.
Yeah, I'm using my my actual data.
Yeah, where's everybody from? I see a few people commenting saying that y'all are in Tampa right now. A lot of people in Tampa, Brooklyn. Yeah, so I'm in LA right now. So right now I'm physically in LA. And Fabby is in Dubai. So it's 11 a.m. here in LA. or 11:20 here, and in Dubai it's 11 p.m. there. All right, so we're gonna try this one more time. Fabby requested to join. Yeah, because definitely gonna get these nuggets, because the goal is for y'all to not just break into tech, but for y'all to start out in a higher position, higher salary, as high as is what's possible, at least. All right, cool.
It looks like it's loading again, so
yeah, for some reason it's not seeming to work on Instagram, so we might just have to do this on YouTube and LinkedIn if we can't get this to work. Yeah, so yeah, we might have to just do this on YouTube and LinkedIn. So we'll try one more time.
Might have to be
just giving y'all a heads up. I'm going to try to bring her on one more time. If we can't bring her on Instagram, then we're going to have to do we're going to have to just tell y'all to come over to YouTube and LinkedIn, so that way we can go ahead and talk about this. All right, is it working? Is it working? We got people in Fort Lauderdale, people in Dallas, Fort Worth, Atlanta, living in England. Yeah, this doesn't seem to be working. Yeah, y'all asking some good questions on Instagram. Somebody said they finished a Scrum Master class almost 2 years ago. No job. Yeah, that shouldn't be. All right, y'all, look, for some reason it's not working on Instagram. Like, it's not letting her come on. Not really sure why. So we are on LinkedIn and YouTube. So if you all just if you all just go to YouTube and go to Tech is the New Black, or go to LinkedIn and go to my name on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn name is Cyrus Harbin. So just look me up on LinkedIn, or go to YouTube and go to the Tech is the New Black page on YouTube. So somebody said Instagram not having Dubai. Oh no, Instagram be working in Dubai. It worked heavy in Dubai. I was just out there a couple weeks ago. We got people in Nigeria, people in Philly. Okay, look, yeah, y'all, sorry this isn't working. So those of y'all that are on Instagram, come on over to LinkedIn. My name is Cyrus Harbin on LinkedIn, or go to YouTube, Tech is the New Black page, and join us there. So we can go ahead and jump into this story with Fabby. All right, love y'all. God bless. Peace.
Okay.
All right, cool.
All right.
All right, good. So we're going to go ahead and talk here.
That's good. I don't know what that was about, but at least we have something going on.
Hey, it is what it is. That's why we on multiple platforms. Just in case one of them act up, we could be on the other one. All right, y'all. So look, appreciate y'all being patient over here on LinkedIn and YouTube. So look, we're going to jump into the conversation. I'm excited about this conversation. Look, y'all, Fabby, she ran a 4K today. She been doing a lot of stuff today. She been doing a whole lot of stuff today. She out there in Dubai. It's Saturday night there in Dubai, right?
Yeah, Saturday night. It's 11:23 p.m. now.
Y'all, she could be outside in Dubai right now. But she with y'all. What Jay-Z said, you could be anywhere else in the world, but you here with me. She's literally in the hot spot right now. And instead of her being on some yacht in Dubai at 11 o'clock at night, they do be out there late on yachts that late at night.
Yeah.
Instead of that, she here with y'all. Y'all give
it's
some.
So funny that you said that, because today we got invited to a yacht party with a couple of our friends.
Hey, look, if you like that, it's like that. So look, y'all. She lives by coastal. She lives in both Dubai and where else do you live at, Fabby?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, Atlanta, Georgia. So she's really like you're really living that remote work lifestyle.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Truly. I mean, I can't complain about it.
Yo, let us know, those of y'all, for those of y'all that are in tech, or those of y'all that are looking to get in tech, if you're working remote or you want to work remote, would you be a person where you're just traveling all the time, or would you be a person where you're living in a couple different cities? You know, people was tripping it out that I'm staying in Miami and Atlanta, but she in Atlanta and Dubai at the same time. That's like really incredible, really incredible. So yeah, let us know. I'm curious. All right, so let's get into it. So Fabby, you did the tech sales boot camp. Of
Mhm.
course, you did course careers. Y'all know I'm
Mhm.
always flapping my gums about course careers and a few other dope boot camps too, but specifically for tech sales, definitely course careers. So, just on a quick high level before we dive into the details, can you talk about when exactly you did course careers,
Mhm.
how long it took you to do it, and how long it took you after you finished course careers to land a job?
Yes. Course careers, I started May of last year.
Mhm.
I would call myself a little impatient. I know that I have looked at other people finish the course in like 2, 3, 4 months. It took me 2 weeks to finish the course. Not that I was trying to like breeze through it or anything. It was just something that highly captivated me, and I'm a big reader, so that's where my learning kicks in. And then I landed a role maybe the next month. It's kind of crazy to say.
Dang, so it was a month later after you. So it took you 2 weeks to finish the boot camp, and you started. You landed a role just a month later. So it was like basically a 6-week process between you starting the boot camp and you getting hired.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy story.
That is so fire. So fire. I love it. And that was May of last year. So you started or you got the job offer in June?
In June. Yeah.
In June. And have you been at the same company since then, between June and now?
No, I did job hop for a pay increase.
Oh, look, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. Because look, y'all, not only that's crazy, not only did you start out at a higher role, but you also jumped from there. Y'all, you was not playing. You like, yo, I'm getting to this bag by any means necessary. Yo, that's
Yeah.
fire. Skeletal of I see a couple people commenting asking what boot camp. Just look at the description and you'll see the link, the discount link that's there. That's linked to the actual boot camp, and that has the discount link that's there for you for the boot camp. All right, so Derek Stoner, I see you here from our community, bro. If you have any questions, make sure that you're asking them in the chat. Of course, we're going to prioritize your questions and the other questions from our new Black community. So, all right, so Fabby, so let's go back. So that's fire. So 6 weeks in, you got the job hop since then. We're gonna talk about that, but let's go back before that. So, what exactly were you doing before you even were considering getting into tech sales?
Okay. So there was this kind of health and fitness company that I worked for over a year, like about a year.
Okay.
Um, and it was cold calling leads. It gave me a quota that I had to hit. And I didn't really understand at the time that these similarities lined up with tech sales.
Right.
But at the time I was cold calling like 240 calls plus a day. And then I would do emails and text, just kind of selling the health products and setting over about 90 plus appointments a week. Um, and then I went more into a manager role because staffing at that company was going down. And so the reason why I switched from that company, because by the end of my term this year or last year, the company was starting to go down to the point where they were firing employees. Like you could tell layoffs were starting to happen. So job security for me started getting really scary.
Yeah.
And I was like, I gotta figure something out. And it's so crazy because if I didn't do what I did, the company completely went down in January. Like the company is no longer.
Wow. The
So
company's
between,
gone.
yeah, the company is completely gone. So I left it June, because I had that job starting in June. And so just in that short couple of months, people weren't getting their payouts correctly, not their commissions correctly. Like I don't understand how the business was running. I had a coworker the other day text me because we created this group chat off of the company just to
Mm.
say things are going on. It was a bad environment, but he couldn't even get his W-2. He was like, they didn't put my W-2 correctly. So it was a crazy experience there. So you can imagine.
You know what's really interesting about that? One thing that most people don't pay attention to. And let me know if y'all agree or disagree in the comments. But a lot of the news has talked about tech companies that have done layoffs last year. But what most people don't realize is that every industry, economy wise has been doing bad. And so it's just a lot of people focus on the tech industry because the tech industry overall makes so much money and it's so successful. And because it did so much mass hiring, that people want to talk about the biggest companies. It's almost like as if, you know, if this is, I always use terrible examples. I'm gonna use a terrible example. It's almost as if Joe Schmo cheated on his girlfriend, nobody cares. Like, that's not gonna make the news. No one's gonna care about that. But Jay-Z cheats on Beyonce, and it's like, what? And it's just breaking news. And so it's like we tend to highlight the things that are like the most peak examples that we all kind of look up to and almost idolize in a way. But people don't realize how every industry, for the most part, has been affected. And still to this day, no industry is hiring as much as the tech industry, even given the market. And so, and that's, of course, one of the reasons why we do these tech testimonies, people coming in, people saying, yo, hella companies are still hiring. Don't let the news make you miss out on the opportunity. Because one of the things I'm afraid of, I'm fearful of us not pursuing, because we just started getting in tech, like in a lot of us, like, you know, Black and brown people. And I'm fearful that we're so caught up in the news that right now we're going to stop getting in tech and our counterparts are going to continue getting in tech. And then we're going to look up a couple years from now and all the work that we've done the last couple years is almost going to be foiled in a way. But that's a whole sidebar, whole other thing. That's a whole different conversation. Let me know what y'all think about that in the comments, if y'all agree or disagree. But so that's fire. I love how you leverage your transferable skills. Like you already had a bit of, you saw some correlations between tech sales and between what it is that, not tech sales, but you saw a correlation between what you were doing before and a tech sales type of role, which is important. And so when was it that, like, what was it that sparked in you that was like, aside from just leaving your old company, because you saw the writing on the wall, but what was it that made you say, okay, yo, I am interested in tech sales or the tech industry or any of that at all?
You, Cyrus. I literally watched the YouTube channel all the time. I was like, this seems so doable. I never was scared to do it. I was just more so excited to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And then hearing the testimonies, I've listened to so many testimonies with other really important to me Black people who would be in my position and are thriving. It is undoubtedly make you feel like you can do it as well, you know? So definitely.
That is so fire. That's so fire. I don't think, because I know obviously we've been texting a little bit this past week or so, and I don't think that, maybe you did tell me. I don't think, at least I don't remember that you had told me that it was basically you saw my content and that you decided to do it. Like we were talking offline, and y'all know I'm always like kind of letting y'all know some of the conversations that I have with someone offline, and I was kind of like not trying to ask too many questions, just so the conversation is organic. But I love that. So there wasn't any kind of hesitation. Like, I know you mentioned like you weren't fearful that it wouldn't work for you. You were just excited. But aside from that, there wasn't a thought in your mind like, yo, this is probably fake. This is probably cap. Or like, what was your thought process when you heard about it, in any sense of hesitation?
I think because of the situation I was in, I was like, I can't allow this to be fake. I was just like, this is not an option for me. I see too many people doing it. It never crossed my mind. Maybe some hesitations I had was, our companies are who they say they are. And I would love to get into that a little bit more. That was a big deal inside of my interviewing process. And I don't think that is looked on enough for people getting into tech, you know?
Yeah. So can you break that down? Like, what exactly you mean by that?
Yes. So when you're talking to, you have a couple different stages. Maybe you'll hit the recruiter first before you hit a direct manager inside of your interviewing process. Depending on how they speak to you, or maybe depending on how they speak to their coworker who is also interviewing you in the call, is really huge when it comes to the environment of the company. I would say in this field, I think if you're in sales, you need really high emotional intelligence. That is just It's just hands down something that you need to have. If you see that something's a little bit off there, maybe you don't want to work for that person. If you see that they're a little bit degrading, if you see that maybe they're not open to new opinions or ideas, maybe that's going to really put you in a tight spot. While you're interviewing, if you're not being allowed to talk authentically as yourself, you're probably not going to be allowed to talk authentically as yourself if you're in that company.
Mhm.
Um, and then there's a few other things too, but I think that when it comes to money, which is something that's really important for us because we want to live freely and have opportunities that maybe we haven't had before, the OTE is huge. Companies will lie to you very, very quickly
Mhm.
about their OTE, and it
Mhm.
is not true. Half of their employees do not hit quota, as they say. They can tell you anything in these job descriptions. They don't have to tell you the truth. They want someone to come in.
Yeah,
Um, so,
that's real. And so and you, I can explain to people really quickly. Well, I'll say it instead of just asking a stupid question. So for those that don't know, I know a lot of y'all do know at this point, but OTE is on target earnings, basically saying that, of course, in the tech sales, you have your base pay. Let's say your base pay is 60,000, 70,000 for like a SDR role, entry level tech sales. And then your OTE, the company can say, oh, your OTE is 110,000, basically meaning you're going to make an additional, it's expected that as long as you're hitting certain regular metrics, you're going to make $110,000, $50,000 extra commission that year. Some have uncapped, meaning that you could technically make more. Some have it capped to where you just make that. Some have accelerators, meaning that once you
yeah,
pass your 50,000, now you double or you sometimes triple how much you're getting per commission. So instead of getting 50,000, now you can accelerate to, okay, shoot, you might end up making 90,000 on top of your base pay. But what she was highlighting is how sometimes they can cap and they can basically lie about OTE. And so what are some ways, and we're going to kind of pull back, but first I do want to talk about this since we're on this subject. What are
yeah.
some ways and strategies you would advise people to find out if a company is telling the truth or not about their OTE?
I love that you asked this. It's so funny. Go to the company page and ask employee, just straight up.
Yep.
Straight up. It's just so simple. They will tell you the truth because they already work there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And whatever's going on, they'll tell you. I've even done this before getting into the company that I work with now, just like prospecting out companies. I will very quickly hit up an employee and ask them. They will not lie to you. What's the benefit in lying to you? They don't know you. They're gonna
Yeah,
tell you.
they don't get a chance to you coming to the company. It doesn't hurt them or help them. So if anything, they're gonna be like, almost a person warning you, being like, "Look, man, I'm about to leave the company right now because
I've
of this."
I've had that. I've had
Wow,
that multiple times. Dodged a couple bullets
that's
just for
that's
that.
really interesting. Ned, that's a really good thing for people to highlight it here, because yeah, I know a lot of y'all, once y'all get an offer, once you see a company that's interested in hiring you, sometimes you could be so excited that you're just like, I'll just take anything. Now, mind you, some of y'all, not some of y'all, some people are in a position to where they do need to just take whatever they can get, just to at least get in the industry. And even if they're at like a very mediocre subpar tech company, at that point, they can still leverage that on their resume and on your LinkedIn. Even if you've only been at the company for 1 month, just having that on your LinkedIn, it will make it easier for other companies to want to hire you on that have a bit more status and have themselves together more. So, um, why I'm curious, and this is a question I guess I haven't even asked anyone before. Why did you specifically choose tech sales? Why not cybersecurity or project management or scrum master?
Mhm.
Why tech sales?
I actually enjoyed coding, so I was actually dipping into either being a full stack, whether front end or back end, something like that, developer or just in tech sales. I think
Yeah,
it was just cost efficient to be in tech sales, and I had the transferable skills. The
yeah,
boot camp was cheap, and having the time to invest in my knowledge is also free. So
yeah.
So that was the route, and it took less time, especially in the job crunch that I was in at the time.
Yeah,
And don't regret
that's so
it.
good. Yeah, no, that's so good. Yeah, just I do the reason why I asked that question is because a lot of people are always like, okay, well, what should I do in tech? And I think it is important for people to recognize like you mentioned, transferable skills. Now, all of y'all you don't have any type of transferable skills. I'm not gonna say you don't have any type of transferable skills when it comes to tech sales, but some of you have more easily recognizable and easier to communicate transferable skills for tech sales than others do. And it is really important for y'all to look at not just what you want to do, but in terms of at least breaking into the industry, look at, okay, what have I done before that I can communicate to these companies when I'm in the interview process. But
Yeah.
course careers, I'm sure the boot camp that you did, how much did they help? Because I mean, you already had knowledge, you had the transferable skills. So for someone who already had the transferable skills, because there are some people here, they're like, yo, I have a bit of a sales background already, maybe never done anything in tech, nothing in tech sales, but they've done some type of sales. What would you say is the value proposition for them to still do a tech sales boot camp and get that that additional skill set? Like what value is there for them?
Um, with the transferable skills, maybe that they already have, right?
Mhm.
And value have. Okay. I would say if you're in sales, you're automatically adaptable. You have to be able to be coachable. And so, with that being said, I think a boot camp would be perfect for someone who is that flexible. But I think that if you are a salesperson, your greatest asset is yourself. You should be able to sell yourself first. Even if you get all of that knowledge through that boot camp, use your skills to sell yourself.
Yeah.
Like, use what you already have to the best of your ability.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really good. What would you say you got from like what are just a few things you would say you got from course careers that were
Hmm.
valuable for you? Things either you didn't know, like let's say you hadn't done course careers. Let's say there's two versions of you. One version hadn't done course careers and she's thinking about it. And then the other version is you now. And the first version is like, girl, I've already done some stuff like this. What am I going to learn in this program that I don't already know that'll make me a better candidate or more competitive in this space than if I don't do it?
Big thing is jargon for the industry. When you are talking with someone who already knows the industry like the back of their hand inside of an interview, they can very much so spot out that you are new, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That is especially true when it comes to numbers. You have to know your numbers because they're going to ask you about quota attainment. They're going to ask you, they're going to throw percentages at you depending on the person you're talking to.
Yeah.
And if you don't know anything, they're like, how can I give you this job when you can't prove to me, even on this call, that you can do the job
Yeah.
and help the company grow? So
Yeah.
I think jargon is a huge one, learning that and understanding what to say inside of an interview. But my biggest thing from course careers is that prospecting. When they show you how to prospect through LinkedIn, how to set up a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet to list companies and go through different stages of the interview process that you're in, any attributes, anything that you can write down about the person you're going to speak with, whether it's the recruiting or hiring manager, and then anything about the company, like just regular, like when did the company start, and then some deeper information. If you write a Excel sheet with each company, and it takes time, like seriously, it can be a little overwhelming, but I think that is really what helped me land the jobs, because there's a difference between going in an interview and just regurgitating stuff that you've seen on the front page of LinkedIn and stuff that you've actually researched. And then you're able to think, okay, so what skills do I have that would match this company? How do I directly benefit this company? And seeing it
Yeah.
on the Excel sheet kind of lays that out for you. So when you go in that interview, you know what they do and you know how you can help them.
Yeah.
So, of
Fire.
course, did that.
That's fire. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to ask that just because I oftentimes see some people that, you know, sometimes someone will be like, oh, well, I don't want to do a boot camp or a course. I think I could just get in. And yes, sometimes people can. I've seen it, but it's one of those things where I try to, because Course Careers is so affordable, I'm always like, well, I mean, you could get in, but do you want it to take you 4 to 6 to 8 months to get in? Or do you want to do this program to where, like you mentioned, it helps you refine a lot of things. It gives you specific industry knowledge that you're able to communicate in those interviews. And now it only takes you 1 to 3 months. And so one thing that I actually learned recently, it's interesting that you mentioned the jargon point. I heard this recently that the biggest bias or prejudice that we have, like around the world, around the globe, is actually culture bias. That's our greatest bias, not skin color bias, not gender bias. Our number one bias is culture bias, and usually it translates in terms of when you hear someone's accent. And so that's why many times, you know, you can and I specifically saw that when I was in Dubai. So it's interesting that you're in Dubai. And so, because when I was there, I saw people. There were a couple times where, and not in major ways, but in micro ways, I could tell people were trying to judge me based off of my skin color. But then as soon as I opened my mouth and they heard I was American,
dialect overreigns. Yep.
it shifted to where I was getting weird favoritism. I was getting favoritism over people with white skin in Dubai because I was American and they were Syrian or something else.
I'm so glad you noticed that. Yes, I was just talking to, there's a lot of expats in Dubai. If people don't realize this, Dubai is very, not just Dubai, there's multiple Emirates. There's Fujairah, you got Abu Dhabi. Everything's very expat ran. And it means people who are not born there, the locals, they're coming into the country to live there. And so they very much so listen to the dialect. I was in the grocery store one time and a local had came up behind me. And as I was talking to the cashier, asking about something, the local came up and interrupted as if I wasn't talking. And I turned around. I'll turn around quick, you know. And I said, excuse me. And as soon as she heard, she was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like, wonder if you can't hear the American. It's happened so many times, you know.
That's weird, because one thing I did notice in Dubai, people interrupt. Like it was multiple times I would be talking to like a police officer, or I'm in front of the line talking to someone, and someone else would just walk up and interrupt me and start talking. And I was like, what is it with them not realizing, yo, there's a line here, there's a person that's talking.
Oh, no.
Anyway, the reason why I bring this up is because I know some people are like, why in the world are y'all talking about this? I bring this up, and of course, the reason of talking about this, even this sidebar, is to highlight the fact of the importance of understanding industry jargon. Because the same way people, let's say locals or just people that are in Dubai, have they give preferential treatment to someone who is American, or someone who they feel, okay, you are of a certain rank or class or whatever that might be, despite your skin color. It is very similar in the tech industry, where when you're on those calls, you're talking to a recruiter or hiring manager, if they realize, let's say culture wise you are not really a good fit for the industry, the way they determine that, or they at least assume that, is based on the language that you're using, based on the acronyms that you're using, based on, you know, your understanding of the acronyms that they're using. And many times what will happen is, even if you're a quality fit for them in terms of your work ethic and in terms of your willingness and eagerness to learn, when they realize, oh, you don't understand the language that we use, in their minds, they have a weird bias where it's almost like a club where they're like, yeah, we're not going to hire you, or we don't want you. We want someone that speaks our language already, not someone who needs to learn the language. And so it's really important. And many times that's the thing that makes or breaks a lot of people. So I love you mentioning the importance of the just of the jargon. As small as that might seem to some people, that is a huge deal.
It's huge.
Right. So you got the job after just 4 weeks. What was the applying process like for you? Because I see my DMs. It's so interesting. I'm always getting DMs from, it's like, I get 3 types of DMs. 3 types. I get DMs from people that are in tech already and they're like agreeing or disagreeing with something that I posted, usually agreeing, usually like laughing, whatever. But then the bulk of the DMs that I get are people saying, Cyrus, I just got a job in tech. You know, like literally the last DM I looked at before we hopped on here was someone else who broke into tech. And so it's either people saying, yo, I got a job in tech, or it's someone saying, hey, Cyrus, I've been applying for 3 months, for 5 months, whatever. I don't have a job yet. And it's always so interesting to me because whenever people, and this isn't to downplay any of you, like anybody's experience, but I'm always curious whenever it's taking someone longer, because I'm like, man, I see so many people that are getting in and scaling and doing this and doing that. And mind you, there's a various of factors, but I'm always curious as to the difference. And of course, I'm able to see it. Like when I look at someone's LinkedIn, when I ask them a few questions, I can see very easily, okay, there is a clear difference between most people that are getting in faster and scaling faster versus most people, not all, but most people, where it's taking them significantly longer. And so what would you say, what are some of the things that you did that you would say allowed you to land a role in the first month? And then also, what did you do after that that you would say gave you other opportunities to where you were able to job hop for even more money?
Okay. Honestly, it's delusion. It really is. Is honestly, you can't accept a no. If the person tells you no, it's like you move on. But I think that it's just optimizing LinkedIn to the best of your ability. LinkedIn is your resume. A lot of people say, yeah, I've already optimized it. And then when I look at their LinkedIn, it doesn't look that great. It just doesn't. And then what else would I say? I would say use the skills that you've learned during your boot camp to prospect and hit the hiring managers' emails or lines, DMs directly than to apply normally. That will get you a back foot into the door. That's how I landed actually my first role, because I did that. I didn't just apply. I also emailed the person who's hiring. I cold called.
Yeah.
I showed them I could do the job before I did the job. And
Exactly.
then when they looked at my LinkedIn, it was like, oh. And I think that's where the delusion kind of comes in, because I kind of faked it till you make it type of situation. I already had the transferable skills. And so I bragged on myself. It was hard to do because usually it's harder to brag on yourself, but please brag on your LinkedIn.
Yeah,
That is
exactly.
your time to show up for yourself.
Yeah, that's so good. Now, for those of y'all, because y'all not talk so much about the importance of LinkedIn optimization, proper LinkedIn optimization, and that is the clear. It's very rare that I've seen people land jobs quickly. Definitely very rare when I see people that are scaling or getting offers where they're not really optimizing their LinkedIn. And so for everybody who you want assistance when it comes to optimize your LinkedIn, I actually have a LinkedIn optimization training. You get access to it when you join the community. Literally just look at the description. Those of y'all that are on YouTube, well, all of y'all here on YouTube and LinkedIn, because we're not on Instagram right now. Just look at the description of this stream. And if you look at the description or the caption that's there, you'll see a link for you to be able to join the community. So as soon as this stream is over, or if you're on a computer, you can click on it now and be able to do that. You'll get access to the LinkedIn optimization training. It was something I was selling for about $200 or $300. It is incredibly valuable. It is honestly worth a few $1,000s because the return on investment that you get from it. Again, it's free now. I'm just giving it out to people because I want to see y'all's LinkedIn better. I'm like, yo, I don't want no $200-$300 from anybody, because I don't want someone to pay for that and they need that 200 or 300 like right now because you don't have a job or you don't have a job in tech yet. I would rather just give that to y'all for free, so that way y'all can get in tech faster, scale faster, all that good stuff. So literally just click on the link, so that way y'all can get access to that. So we got a question in from our community. So, and also when you get the LinkedIn thing, you also get access to our community that we're growing. But got a question from the community. Derek Stoner asked, what type of numbers, jargon, or language would an interview ask that we would need to know?
I would say big thing is your quota attainment. Understand your percentage ranked against your coworkers. Understand your percentage of quota attained in the month and year. No, just know your numbers. What targets were you expected to reach, and what did you do?
Yeah.
I think that is the best jargon language in that area that will make or break an interview. Um,
Yeah, that's good. That's super good. I'm noticing a few people are asking about where the link is at. So it's if you're here on LinkedIn, you would just look at the description of the video. What I am trying to do right now. Okay, cool. I'm gonna actually just tell y'all what that it looks like to actually get to it, so that way you are all able to assess it. All right. So if you just go to, let me share my screen really quickly so y'all can see. Hopefully this works. I'm gonna turn my camera off briefly so this I'm not pulling too much. Y'all know I'm on this hotel Wi-Fi. The hotel Wi-Fi be the worst. Absolute worst.
I
All
like
right, share
StreamYard.
screen.
It's kind of like a Zoom.
Oh yeah, yeah, I like it a lot as well. So, all right, cool. Oh, this is like Inception. It's like a screen within a screen within a screen. All right, so gonna go to LinkedIn. Can you all see my LinkedIn right now?
I can see it.
Okay, cool. So if you go to my LinkedIn, you'll see at the top of it, you'll see the stream that Fabby and I are currently doing. If you scroll down and you go to the post, did you know that you can do an entry level text says if you go to this actual post where the stream is happening at, just go to what am I doing? Okay. Let me click out of this. All right. Ooh. All right. I'm not gonna go through all of that, but let me click out of here because I'm about to give myself a headache. All right, cool. But basically, if you go there, if you saw the caption before I accidentally clicked into the video, you'll see that the caption there, that's where the links are at. That's the link both for the discount to the bootcamp as well as the link for you to access the LinkedIn optimization training, access to the community. We're going to be launching some really cool stuff with our community next week. But of course, with that, you get updates to tech events that are happening. And we're going to be also announcing different companies that are hiring and people that work at the companies that you can use as a referral for those companies. Because the goal is to really provide as much as we can possible for more of you to land jobs in tech sooner and be able to scale sooner. So that being said, so you got at your first tech company. How much longer was it before you job hopped to another company? Why did you job hop to another company? And what were you doing that allowed a company to basically offer you more money, even though you had just gotten in tech?
I would say maybe about 5 months, 4 to 5 months. I stayed at that company. Definitely job hopped because remember when I told you earlier, when you're in an interview, sometimes you can be tricked when it comes to the OTE. And if the other employees in the companies are even hitting quota, I got very much so sold, especially being my first time getting into like tech. I was very much so sold with the company. They loved me so much, but they also told me that everybody is hitting quota. Red flag, guys. Do not believe anyone that says everybody is hitting quota. I'm sorry. That's not transparency. There's got to be one or two or some off months, you know.
Many times the recruiters don't even know. Like because a lot of the recruiters, they're not in tech sales. They're a recruiter at the company. So many times they'll just be like,
This wasn't a recruiter. This was the director of sales.
oh, so they were just
Yeah.
lying.
Oops.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. And so I didn't realize because there was no, there's a platform, if you guys don't know it, it's called RepView or RepView. Is that how you pronounce it? It is a website where you can look up OTEs, look up employee stuff, kind of like a Glassdoor, but a little bit more on the money side. I couldn't find them up there either. So I really had to just take their word on, and especially coming out of the job situation where I needed a job as well. And it's like, okay, I'm just going to have to take their word. High turnover rates, too much work to put in, little return. Even though their accelerators was amazing, the only people that was benefiting from it was people who's been there for years. Like I'm talking about 5-6 years. And so because I'm a learner, as I'm asking these people who are higher up in the company, well, what did you do, step by step? Like I'm always looking to improve. And they were like, I don't even cold call anymore. I'm like, how are you going to teach me? Not teach me, but like give me any advice. Like, how are you going to do that?
Yeah.
They couldn't. So you're on your own in that company. And so I was like, I got to find something else
Yeah.
completely. It wasn't good.
So were you optimizing your LinkedIn while you were at that company, or did you start optimizing it later? Like, what did it look like for you to nurture relationships with other companies and basically for you to get other interviews and start and eventually job hop?
Yeah, I leveraged that job on my LinkedIn because I did use all of the skills that I used in or learned about from in course careers inside of that job. So I leveraged that. And finally, because I've never had like actual tech company or worked for a tech company before, now I have worked for a tech company. So that leveraged a lot in my job hopping because now you step your toes into
Yeah,
the industry.
that is fire. Now
Mhm.
let's get to the question that probably should have talked about this earlier. I should have asked this earlier. The question of what led you to not pursue a SDR role and to jump for an account executive?
Yeah.
And again,
I'm
for
glad you
clarity,
caught that.
account executive is so SDR account executive. They're both in under the tech sales umbrella. There's different umbrellas within tech. You have the cybersecurity sector where you can do a variety of things. You could be security analyst. You can do pen testing. You could be a blue teamer or a red teamer. You can do a bunch of different things in that space. An ethical hacker, basically. Project. You have the product space. You could be a product manager, a product owner. That falls under the UX UI. Like UX UI falls under the product space. A few different
Mhm.
things. But of course, we're talking tech sales. Where in tech sales, you have what falls under the umbrella is usually sales engineering, account executive, SDR or BDR. But account executive, just like sales engineer, are typically a step up from
Mhm.
a SDR, BDR role. What did you do to be able to get in as an account executive instead of an SDR? Because I want people to know that. So some people here can do what you did.
I remember I told you I did 240 calls a day for the company that shut down, that was
Yeah,
doing the layoff. I didn't want to do that anymore. I just did it. I didn't want to do that anymore. And I knew that an SDR role was heavily based into that.
yeah,
So personally, I just didn't want to set myself up for failure doing something that I didn't want to do
yeah,
anymore. It doesn't mean that I don't cold call now. I do. And I cold call on my own terms, and it's not breathing down my back. I just get to focus on closing the deals. And I like closing the deals. I'm a people's person. So a little bit of that delusion saying, yeah, I can do it.
I
I'm
love it.
sorry. It wasn't a big decision for me. It was like, I don't like this. Like, I got to go over here.
Yeah. What I love so much about this conversation and hearing you talk about the delusional component, it makes me it makes me think about when people talk about imposter syndrome. And the reality of imposter syndrome itself is a delusion. It's like you're delusional if you think you can't do something that you've been trained to do. Like you literally have been trained and educated and coached to do it. So it's delusion that you think you're not a good fit. But you're delusional in the opposite way. You're delusional in the sense of like, yo, I can do X, Y, and Z. And I think that's what we need. We need a little bit more of that type of delusion where we're like, yo, I could do this thing. Because
Yeah.
it's like, what is it? There's a quote that says, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. It's like it's really up to you believe you can or you believe you can't. You are right. I know I'm a Christian and super far from perfect, but I was so heavy in like church communities growing up that just being
Mhm.
real, a lot of Black church communities, and those communities were very at the time were very heavily based on fear, heavily based on God in survival mode, basically survival mode
Mhm.
type of Christianity, where it's like, yo, God is gonna help me pay my bills. He's
Yeah.
gonna help me get by and keep on going. He's gonna make sure he provides all of my needs, things like that. But then I started getting around other types of Christians where I was like, yo, y'all are delusional. Like they were like, no, God gonna make sure I got above and beyond. Like I'm balling, I'm popping, I'm this. And I remember at one point, of course, that's prosperity type of stuff. I remember for most of my adult life, I was very against anybody that had this delusion of faith in God. I was like, man, they just all about prosperity. They just all thinking that they're going to have this and that, and stuff doesn't work that way. And then I remember when I just got fed up with being broke. And I was like, you know what? Bump it. I'm like, I'm about to be delusional too. I'm about to Kool-Aid. And I'm gonna start believing, yo, I'm gonna be God he gonna give me this and this gonna happen. I'm gonna believe in this, I'm gonna believe in that. I started claiming things that I never did before. And
I'm so glad you said that.
That same year is when I broke into tech, is when my life changed. And so I'm like, so now I'm the type where I'm like, yo, I'm no longer gonna have a conservative mindset. Like I'm not like even now, like my life is great. I have more than enough money. Life is beautiful. But you think I'm like, oh, I'm good? No, I'm not. So look, I'm saying this. Hopefully, this motivates y'all. Hopefully, her story and what she's saying motivates y'all. We need to all walk in the spirit of delusion. So be like, yo, we gonna get to it and we're gonna elevate and scale. But you had said something. You started talking. You said that you were happy that I said that. Why did you say that?
Yes, because that is definitely what led me to where I am now, having faith. And so the beginning of last year, I feel like I lost touch in faith, and that didn't really work well for me. It didn't. And, you tried to put everything into your hands, and it's not just delusion. Obviously, you think, okay, what action can I put into things?
Yeah.
But here comes the key component. You can do everything. I've done everything under the sun. And when I finally added the faith and giving that over, giving my stress, my worries, everything over, it changed. Everything changed. So I'm glad that
I love that so much. Now, so you job hop and you've only job hopped once, correct?
Yes, only once. Yeah.
Okay, only once. All right. So what so I'm curious, so what changes did you see in life from you getting in tech versus and I'm assuming the first company that you were at, was it actually a tech company?
Yes, it was.
Okay, cool.
It did sell software for fleets, trucks and stuff like that.
Okay, good stuff. And I asked that because one thing that I haven't talked about enough to people is how I haven't been really specifying tech companies versus, because obviously someone could be an SDR, BDR for. I mean, I know someone that's doing that for like a law firm, and they're like, man, why am I only making my base pay is 30,000 and my OTE is? I'm like, because you're at a law firm, you're not at a tech company, like. And then of course there are companies that aren't tech companies, they still pay really well. And so that's why I decided to ask that. So anyway, so just highlighting for y'all, make sure that when you're applying to companies and you're looking at the salary or how much they're paying, ask the question, are they actually a tech company or a SaaS company, a software as a service company, or PaaS or yes, or any of the rest of those asses, which is a funny kind of pun. But anyway, so in the company that you're at now, is it still a tech company?
Yes, it is. It's a tech company. So much better. I love the environment there. I love my teammates. It's really great. They give you your company equipment. I mean, obviously it's remote. I couldn't ask for more, and I actually get to do my job description, and I don't dibble into others. So
so the first company you were at, they ain't have their ish together. And so it sounds like they were kind of fumbling and had you kind of doing stuff that you weren't supposed to do. So now that you're at an official company that got their ish together and they operating properly, what would you say the experience is like being in tech, still in the same vein of sales, but now doing it in tech versus what life was like for you before?
Now, do you mean like personal life wise or just professionally?
Professionally. Oh, they ring the doorbell at the hotel, y'all. Oh, well, dang, I got the thing on for housekeeping. I forgot. Oh, Y'all seeing the behind the scenes stuff. Oh, I didn't mean to not push her out. Hey, my apologies. I'm gonna turn it off because I'm in a meeting right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't watch everything today?
Not right now. In about an hour.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Ooh, the behind the scenes, the BTS, the irony of the whole working remote type stuff. So and I'm out here in LA, y'all, because I'm interviewing different people that work in tech. I'm interviewing a few people today that work in tech. Y'all see, I'll be dropping them videos, interviewing people. It's funny. Some people think that I'm trying to make it look like I'm accidentally bumping into people. I'm like, no, I'm not bumping into people. I'm clearly scheduling meeting up with people and just interviewing them downtown with a nice background. So just to keep it clear, y'all, I ain't capping on nothing. I'm definitely scheduling meeting these people and interviewing them. So I ain't got no time to be trying to ask random people, do you work in tech? Like, everybody do all that. So anyway, back to what we were talking about. So you said that so going back to the question of the difference between you working in tech versus what life was like for you before.
I would say I was definitely in debt. I wasn't making nearly as much as I make now. So just kind of like struggling into like, what's my next move? Now my credit card is over the limit. It's just like really stressful situation. And then how it looks now, this month, I'm completely debt free because of all of that money that came through. My savings is looking crazy. And I can travel, go as I please if I choose to. I can book the $1,600 ticket to Atlanta today if I wanted to. You don't have to feel that worry. The rent's already covered, your food, it's different. I'm sorry, it's different. The opportunity it gives you is
beautiful thing. That's so beautiful. I love that so much. Congratulations on officially being debt free this month. Y'all show some love to her in the comments, because that is a huge thing. I love that so much for you. And beautiful, especially you actually living in Dubai and Atlanta. That is fire, incredibly fire. So now I'm gonna go ahead and get to a few of the questions in the comments. We are a little bit over time, so I want to be mindful of that. So y'all make sure that y'all are dropping questions. I'm gonna skim through the comments. I know we saw a couple different questions that were in here earlier. At first, I was answering questions from our community. That's interesting question. Yeah. So because you're in Dubai, are they taking taxes out of your pay since you live in Dubai?
Yeah. So I definitely get taxed from the States. Definitely. I still pay taxes. I just talked to my CPA today. We're having a meeting tomorrow. So we on top of that.
Okay, cool. So it's not Dubai isn't taxing you, but the states are.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Desmond Okonkwo, probably jacked up your last name. He asked, will this be on YouTube? It's on YouTube right now. So we're not just streaming to LinkedIn, we're also streaming to YouTube. So let me go down, as I know y'all are probably dropping some questions. Also, a lot of congratulations. Somebody asked an interesting question. They asked, did she finesse on her resume a bit? That is an interesting question. So usually I wouldn't even ask that question, but I don't think that question came from malice. I think that's a genuine question.
I think that you should. I would say I definitely did when I first started. I think you should set yourself up in the best position possible. Definitely. And if you don't really want that position hard enough.
That is the straight up truth. I'm not going I'm not gonna advocate to what I'm about to say, but I'm just telling you all a story of something I heard recently. There is a girl that I know, and I'm gonna do one of those street interviews with her sometime soon. There's a girl that I know who she did course careers, broke into tech. Since then, she has job hopped like 3 times and has scaled her income so much. And it was something like, basically she was like finessing a little bit on some things. And it was to a point where I was like, yo, I would not encourage people to do that, like all that stuff you're doing, but it's working out for her. And she was like, look, I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna get what I'm gonna get. She was like, because guess what? At the end of the day, once I get at these companies, I'm killing it. She's like, so what does it matter? She's like, because I'm doing a job.
As long as you can do the job, because they can tell we can't.
Exactly. And yeah, so it's a pretty interesting. But anyway, so someone says, so is it that you work remote?
Yes.
Where's your company based out of? And
New York.
okay. Oh, and they asked, do you have a mandatory number of days in office?
No.
Okay, cool.
No.
All right. No. So the next question someone asked, how did you come to living in Dubai? Was that because of tech?
No, I actually lived in Dubai because of a romance. Risque. But I love it. I live life on the edge, that's for sure. I could be anywhere. It doesn't have to be Dubai.
Yeah, that's super fire. Love that so much. Now look, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. Thank you so much for coming on. This was really fire. I love that you're in Dubai and Atlanta. When are you back in Atlanta?
Either later on this year. I really plan on going. Don't tell my mom, because she always is looking for me to come back home. She lives in Atlanta. Maybe like around November area.
Okay, cool.
Of this year, yeah.
That kind of sucks. I'm gonna be in Dubai in December. I'm actually speaking at an event out there.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I'm pretty hyped. I just got booked a couple weeks ago, so I'm gonna be back there in December.
Mid-December or late December?
I'll send you the flyer because I don't want to lie on the time, but I'll send you the flyer for the event. Okay. And yeah, so no, that's incredibly fire. Look, y'all. Really, we're growing our new Black community, the Texas new Black community. For those of y'all that are looking to be able to break into tech or scale faster, or you're looking for a resource when it comes to tech events, or you want to just be a part of a community, all of that, literally just go to the link in the description. Make sure that you click on that so that way you're able to get access. It has that LinkedIn optimization training, as well as a bunch of other things that we're going to be adding as well. But I'm going to be announcing that sometime soon. We're going to do like a huge announcement because we're going to be having some fire stuff that we're going to be doing and providing for the community. Someone said, yeah, what would you, I would answer this question, but I'll let you answer this for you. They said, do you recommend finishing the course before applying to jobs?
Yes.
Okay, cool. That's the first time I've heard someone say wait to finish the course before applying to jobs. Why would you say wait to finish it before you start applying?
I would say just make sure you really can soak in what the course can give you, because maybe you put out your foot a little bit too soon. And I know we're all excited, but give yourself a chance to actually learn and practice the information that you were taught. That's all.
Good stuff. You know, that's incredibly important. Look, appreciate you so much, Fabby. Man, I look forward to meeting you. Lord willing, I get to meet you either in Dubai or Atlanta, preferably Dubai. But, you know, I'll take Atlanta since we're both there too. And so, man, look, y'all, appreciate all y'all for tuning in. Y'all's great questions. Love all of y'all. I hope this is incredibly beneficial for y'all. Y'all have a blessed weekend. Thank you again, Fabby.
Bye, guys.